All right, welcome back to this week's FinX segment. Again, this is kind of where we filter out the noise and to see what kind of chatter FinX can give us, if it can give us any information on potential names to trade, or if it's just kind of all BS, smoke and mirrors, and people pumping and pushing penny stocks and things like that. All right, so firstly, I actually had a viewer request my opinion on a name. Firstly, this is never financial advice. Any of my videos are never financial advice. This is just how I see things and how I trade or what I would be interested in. This is not a signal or a service to tell you to buy or sell anything. Just to be clear, educational purposes only. All right, so TEM, Tempus AI. I remember when this thing was hot. It was hot back in here. You can see actually that I have some charting as reverse head and shoulder type look, and then it moved up from there. But ever since then, it really has gotten hit. You can obviously see the viewer said, it looks like it's a potential reversal. I would not necessarily disagree with that. There's a downtrend line. So first, number one, downtrend line has to be broken, right? So structure wise, and then a higher high has to be made, and then a lower high has to be made. That looks like that could be underway. So technically we have a higher low here versus this low. And also we have a higher high here relative to this, and maybe this here with earnings as a catalyst. Maybe this Friday's low is a higher low versus here, and that'll set up to make a higher high relative to this one or even this one, because this is a relative lower high versus this, and this is a lower low versus here, right? So short term we are downtrending, but moderate term we actually might be turning around with this name. Overall, the 50 EMA, the 8 and 21, it's all chopping. We do have the 200 EMA around $60.20 right overhead. So I'm not necessarily sure the true risk reward here, unless you really, let me hide, let me take that away. Unless you really keep stop losses tight and you can catch these 3% moves. I'm not sure how you would manage your risk against this, especially with it being underneath these MAs and the 200, which is technically a little bit tends to be a stronger resistance point right above. So yes, it looks like it could be turning around. I think there are better names to be involved in though, for sure. Thank you for the question. Keep watching, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. If you got any other questions, obviously just comment and I will give you my thoughts and ideas on them. All right, moving on. Apple also got a lot of chatter on FinX this week. Obviously, look, it's breaking out to all-time highs. Look where it's come from. Apple has a pretty good opportunity on the AI realm with the Mac Minis and having local models built on them. So I think that is the story moving forward. It's going to be pretty solid. NVIDIA also breaking out to new all-time highs. Not an all-time high close, as this was a higher close here at 216.61. Yeah, this was where is it, 215.20. Yeah, so not an all-time high close, but pretty it's up there. It's only 1.2% away, so it's nice and strong. Can it actually break out? If you've been watching my videos, I've actually been looking for this exact thing to happen. It came far pretty fast. It got tight, it popped, and then we're looking for a pullback, the first pullback from after making all-time highs, back to a EMA of some sort, or back to 50%, back to 75% of the range, somewhere in there to look somewhere to risk against, and then we get a pop higher. So that plan played out. I didn't catch any of it, which is fine, but it's good to have plans. Tesla, as I've been saying over the past couple of weeks, absolutely looks great. I missed my entry on last Monday, and it moved without me. That's okay. There will be plenty of other trades and opportunities in the future. But I would keep Tesla on your radar, especially for any pullbacks within the 402, 408, 402 area. If you go watch my overall market review, to kind of get my expectations. We just go over individual names with this one. Meta looks like it tried to go for a gap fill, but it completely failed at the 8 EMA. It failed to hold the highs of the earnings gap down here. maybe it just chops around. I did have like a little wedge here, and then some support here, and then there's a resistance here I never drew, but it just kind of failed. So if we go from range kind of principles, from failed moves comes fast moves. So this failed to break out higher so far, except a back end range. End range is technically the target, so it could get back down to 600, but like honestly, the range is not that big of a deal. It's moving within about a 3% range since earnings there. Either way, it just kind of there's better places to be. Hood is interesting. Hood actually, got hit on earnings. Obviously, you have the anchor VWAP here at earnings. It pulled down to anchor VWAP here and bounced right off of it. It is above. So here's an anchor VWAP from prior earnings. You can see it's done absolutely nothing since the last earnings. It tried to move higher, rejected the 200 EMA, got rejected back down. Opposite end range, so failed move came a fast move. Here's the range that I had. Opposite end range target was basically here, so that played out there. But look at the EMAs. It's indecision mode. I think this is going. I think it looks strong overall, and I think it will eventually turn around. I do think that might be happening soon. I do think this is a decent area to risk against. If you're a long-term investor, a long-term trader, maybe it's time to position here. Not investment advice, but this low, it could be secure, the 63.52, especially if crypto starts turning around and volumes of crypto trading start to turn up again. This will most likely start to turn up again too. AMD, chips, this sector has just been absolutely, semis, absolutely ripping. This is what's actually moving the market. This up here, I would not chase. If you caught this, congratulations. If you did not, I certainly would not chase up here. You can do whatever you want, not financial advice, but I'm not. It's made a 133% move in about 28 trading days. That's insane, which is awesome. If you caught it, it's great and everything, but I would expect some sort of pullback sometime soon. That's what I'm looking for this week. Google, absolutely monster earnings, monster of a stock. About to have, I think it might have the largest weight cap right now. If not, it's super close. I kind of forget off the top of my head. Either way, very strong name. It's a leader in the AI space. But it's extended. Exxon. I took a freaking trade on Tuesday, got caught down on the gap on Wednesday for a loss. Annoying. I get caught in a lot of gaps this year so far, but is what it is. This is sometimes why you can make an argument of why you wait for confirmation. We have an anchor VWAP pinch from the high and the previous low, pinching in between. I positioned for the breakout, and literally the next morning I got stopped out. So is what it is. But you can see I have this range here. It's kind of ranging, came back in a head and shoulders type look. Here's a neckline, breaking the neckline. So energy might continue to head down this week, depending on the Iran war resolution. If not, or if it does, target is about 135, the 200 EMA. Palantir continues to chop around. I do think this is a stock of the future with AI and government contracts and how to use AI for defense and all this other stuff. But it kind of looks like Hood, right? It's been really chopping around, doing nothing. It's been basing. This is probably a decent range. You can start maybe acquiring some shares in if you're going to mod term or long term hold it. I sold all mine because I thought it was going lower. I have rules that long-term holds underneath the 200 EMA, I'm out because you never know. This could easily go lower. We'll see if it does or not, and just be patient with it. Microsoft was actually looking like it was turning around. I mentioned this last week. If you follow me on X, I also made a post about it, basically what it was, downtrend line, pull back to the 21, confluence with the 50, confluence with the 21, confluence with the anchor VWAP on the tag down here. So what I was looking for was a downtrend line break. We got that. It's not the best look on Thursday with that topping tail. So Friday, we got some follow through. If you are a down trend line breakout and retest trader, if that is a setup of yours, this may be of interest to you. where you could set the stop loss. If we get a pop on Monday, maybe set the stop loss at the bottom of Friday. Or if you want to give it a little extra room, you can put it at the low here of Wednesday. Or if you even want to get a huge room, I wouldn't do it personally. That's just not how I trade. But you can even put it at the low of this Thursday here. But like to get 1-to-1 reward there, it's pretty wild. 97. Let's just say your entry was at 414. What's that put you at? 97.07. That puts you at like $17 of risk. That means you'd have to get a 17, what did I say, 414, 24, 20. So it'd be like 29. You'd have to get the 429 for a 1-to-1 reward if I'm doing that math right off the top of my head there. That's just not, I don't have the patience for that personally, but you do what you want. Bitcoin might actually start be turning around here. Earnings, it got cracked on earnings. I was posting on Thursday evening if this is a good area to buy, to set a higher low. It was to buy anchor VWAP. It was by this pivot on gap that I have here on Thursday that I can actually take out now. So it ended up being pretty solid, right? And if Bitcoin starts to come up and starts to move higher, this again, consolidation laggard compared to the compared to semis and chips and yada yada that are absolutely crushing it right now. This might start to see some money flow into it. There's some more lines for you if you like them. All right, EOSE, this is hot too. This actually looks like it's reversing. I don't know what the news was, but obviously it's got a nice little volume pump. It's got earnings. Be mindful of that. Wednesday the 13th. I don't hold through earnings. I don't recommend you do, but you do what you want. The only thing is it's got the 200 EMA right above. This could be going for a gap fill. It's still got, let's just call it an even 8 all the way up to $11 to fill. That's a pretty solid move. It's like 20% or so. It's an energy name. Energy could be, could be the next area money flows into with a pullback from chips. So just be mindful of that. MU, Micron, I'd be looking for a short for this thing this week. When I thought this was extended on here on Tuesday, my gosh, this thing is just absolutely insane. Good for you if you caught it. Well done. Congratulations. Let's just look at this from this low, March 31st, to this high on May 8th in 27 trading days, 137%. I sure as heck am not chasing up here. If anything, I'm going to look for an 80-20 trade, a reversal. AAPL got some love this week. On FinX, this actually looks like a reversal. It's holding the 8, it's holding the 21, it held the 50. It's now above the 200 EMA again after testing it here, failed to hold it, got above again. Now it's holding it so far. We'll see what actually happens. Be mindful, next week, Tuesday, earnings. I would not, I wouldn't do anything crazy, but this does kind of look like a decent reversal trade here. SMCI, this also looks like a reversal trade. Obviously, something happened in earnings. I'm not aware of it. Volume, and it looks like it might continue into next week. This thing is just, I don't trust this at all. It's had multiple accounting issues in the past. I personally will not touch it, but look at this. This is why we always look left. Where did it find support? At prior support. It doesn't mean that it's going to, but it means there are levels of interest to see what may happen. See, look, it happened right here as well. And so just always look left, mark your stuff out ahead of time, and see what happens. This is a potential area of resistance here. We'll see if it breaks out and holds. If it breaks out and holds, the next area that was support that became resistance, you're looking at $40 or so. So another 13, 14-ish% move. CoreWeave had earnings last week. I started my position on last Wednesday. I did choose to hold through earnings because it's a longer term. I do think this is, so down trend line breakout. Here's a retest-ish look, pullback, new high. We're looking for a higher low versus this Tuesday low. It's holding the 21 so far, ish. It closed just below technically. We have a golden cross if you care about that stuff, the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA crossing up higher. I think they had some pretty solid earnings. This rents out compute basically, and if you think AI is the future and it's coming, then that's an area, it's a name to pay attention to. Fluence Energy. So energy names, obviously, I guess, got a pop last week on earnings. Something happened. Looks like it had that monster earnings. Look at that relative volume compared to everything else. And this could be a turnaround name, but you can see that it's been really doing nothing for years. It's in a huge range. So maybe one day if this breaks out, if whatever this catalyst in the earnings gives it some juice to get it going, maybe it'll go. I'd watch for gap fills. I'd watch for some sort of base to fill in. I'd wait for the EMAs to catch up. I'd wait for some sort of basin to come in. GLW, this has been hot. Corning, glass, optics, fibers, things like that. Hot for AI infrastructure build out. I also entered this on I think it was last Monday or Tuesday. I did catch this gap up, which was nice, obviously. So I got a nice little base. This is a long-term hold. I'd wait for this. This is probably going to chop around and maybe continue higher. If it had another pullback to the 50, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Ideally, it just continues to hold this level, this 160-ish. This gap was already filled, so I'd want it to hold 160 and ideally continue to trend higher. Looks good though. It's up and to the right, right? ONDS, this is a chop zone. This is just a complete chop fest. Here's some levels that I was looking at prior, and it broke that 200 EMAs down here. This is just kind of sloppy and choppy. It's really, I can see this being hard to trade. I don't know how you even manage this. You got to give this thing some pretty wide stops. 200's right there. This anchor VWAP down here is from something from a long time ago. High here. I was tracking this thing back in 25. I guess I was looking at it January wise. But that's anchor VWAP from this prior high, from the breakout here. So, I mean, look at it's tagging it, it's respecting it, which is kind of cool. Either way, there are the names for this week. Like, comment, subscribe, go watch my weekly video for the prep, and I will see you next week. Trade safe, manage your risk, and trade your plan.